No one in that hospital room believed this moment would ever happen, not the doctors, not the nurses, not even her own parents, but when a trembling teenage girl began singing to God beside her sister's lifeless body, something impossible happened that would leave Simon Cowell speechless and millions of Americans crying. If you believe miracles can still happen, make sure you subscribe now, because stories like this remind us why hope should never die. 16-year-old Emily Carter had been lying in a hospital bed for 112 days. The machines beside her hummed softly, measuring breaths she could not control and heartbeats she could not feel. Her once bright eyes were closed, her long brown hair spread across a white pillow, and her body looked smaller than it should have, as if the coma itself had been slowly taking pieces of her away. Doctors had used every medical word they could find: traumatic brain injury, irreversible damage, minimal brain response, and finally the sentence her parents feared most: she may never wake up. For the Carter family, time stopped the day Emily collapsed during a school choir rehearsal. She had laughed minutes before, joking about an upcoming talent show audition, and then suddenly the floor rushed toward her, her body went still, and her life changed forever. Her younger sister, 14-year-old Lily Carter, had been the last person to hear Emily sing before the coma. Emily had always been Lily's hero, not just because she was older, but because she sang like her voice was connected to heaven. Their small Ohio town knew Emily as the girl who sang in church every Sunday, who volunteered at food drives, who dreamed of one day standing on a big stage and singing for people who needed hope. Lily, shy and quiet, had always stood behind her sister, harmonizing softly, never believing her own voice mattered. When Emily fell into a coma, Lily stopped singing altogether. She believed that if Emily could not sing, then the world did not deserve music. Weeks passed, then months. The doctors slowly prepared the family for the worst. They said Emily's brain showed little response to sound, touch, or light. They suggested discussing long-term care facilities. One doctor gently mentioned that sometimes families had to consider letting go. Those words shattered Lily in a way she could not explain. Letting go felt like betraying the sister who had always protected her. Their parents tried to stay strong, but grief changed them. Their father stopped talking as much. Their mother slept in a chair beside Emily's bed every night, whispering prayers into the silence. One evening, when visiting hours were almost over, Lily asked the nurse if she could stay a few extra minutes. She had something she needed to do. The nurse hesitated but then nodded. Lily stood alone beside Emily's bed, holding her sister's cold hand. Her voice shook as she spoke, telling Emily about school, about how her favorite hoodie still smelled like her, about how the house felt empty without her laughter. Then Lily did something she had not done since the accident. She sang. At first, the sound barely came out. Her voice cracked as she began a simple worship song Emily used to love, a song about surrender and faith, about trusting God even when the answer hurts. Lily closed her eyes, not wanting to see her sister's still face, afraid that silence would answer her song. But she kept singing, pouring every ounce of pain, love, and hope into each word. She sang not to impress anyone, not for attention, but because it was the only way she knew how to pray. What happened next was so small that it could have been missed, but Lily felt it. Emily's fingers moved, just slightly. Lily stopped singing, her heart pounding. She stared at Emily's hand, thinking she imagined it. Then it happened again. A twitch. A real one. Lily screamed for the nurse. Machines began to beep louder. Doctors rushed in. Emily's eyelids fluttered for the first time in months. By morning, the story spread through the hospital like wildfire. A girl in a coma responding to her sister's singing. Doctors tried to explain it scientifically, calling it stimulus response, coincidence, muscle reflex. But no one in that room believed it was just that. Emily did not fully wake up that day, but something had changed. Her brain activity increased. Her vitals stabilized. Hope, once buried, began to breathe again. Over the next few weeks, Lily sang to Emily every single day. Sometimes softly, sometimes through tears, sometimes with a strength she did not know she had. Each time, Emily responded a little more. Her fingers curled. Her breathing changed. One day, a single tear slid down her cheek while Lily sang about God's promises. Doctors could no longer deny that something extraordinary was happening. Then came the moment no one was prepared for. Lily was singing again, Her voice steady now, stronger, as if Emily was lending her strength from somewhere deep inside. Suddenly, Emily's eyes opened. Fully. She looked around the room, confused, scared, alive. Lily dropped to her knees, crying, laughing, screaming all at once. Nurses rushed in. Doctors stared in disbelief. Emily tried to speak, but her voice would not come. Still, her eyes locked onto Lily, and in that look was recognition, love, and gratitude beyond words. Emily's recovery was slow and painful. She had to relearn how to walk, how to speak clearly, how to sing. Some days were harder than others. Some days, she cried from frustration. But Lily never left her side. They sang together again, quietly at first, then louder as Emily's strength returned. Their bond, once strong, became unbreakable. Months later, a producer from a major talent show heard their story. He invited them to audition, not for fame, but to share hope. Lily did not want to go. She was afraid. Emily convinced her. She said the world needed to hear what God had done through them. Standing backstage, Lily's hands shook just like they had in the hospital room. Emily squeezed her hand and whispered, "We already survived the impossible." When they stepped onto the stage, the audience knew nothing except that two sisters were about to sing. Simon Cowell looked distracted at first, flipping his pen, not expecting much. Lily began the song alone. Her voice filled the room, raw and honest. Then Emily joined her. The same girl who had been in a coma months before now stood under bright lights, singing with tears in her eyes. The audience realized what they were witnessing. Simon stopped writing. His jaw tightened. His eyes filled with tears. When the song ended, the room was silent before erupting into applause. Simon stood up, something he rarely did. He said he had judged thousands of singers, but he had never seen a miracle sing back. He admitted that for the first time in years, he did not know how to explain what he felt, only that it was real. The judges cried. The audience cried. Millions watching at home cried. Emily looked at Lily and smiled. Not because of the applause, not because of the stage, but because she was alive, because her sister never stopped believing, because a song sung in a hospital room reached the world. This is not just a story about music. It is a story about faith when logic fails, love when hope fades, and the power of one voice refusing to be silent. If this story moved you, remember that miracles often begin in quiet rooms when no one is watching.